So congratulations on deciding psychiatry. I figure that's the reason why you would click on a video like this. I'm Dr. Jackie and I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist. I make videos about psychiatry topics, psychiatry training, such as this one. Also make comments and reaction videos for how mental illness is portrayed in the media. If that's interesting to you, like and subscribe and join the team. This video is likely going to be very specific to all the med students out there, but if you're a college student that is thinking of going into medical school or wanting to pursue psychiatry, then you'll learn a little bit about what the process even looks like, but I wouldn't fret too much about it just yet. Same thing for our first-year medical students out there, or even second-year medical students. This is probably going to be more catered towards the third and fourth year med students that are 100% sure that they're applying to psychiatry residency, but I will be talking about some general timelines in terms of residency, ERES, and match. Okay, so the first step would be obviously needing to apply to the residency programs that are out there. ERES stands for the Electronic Residency Application Service. What ERES does is that it compiles all your application materials into one online program that you will just continuously kind of add to and then submit to the programs that you choose to apply to. It includes the MSPE, which is the Medical School Performance Evaluation, which includes feedback that you get from different people that you rotated with during your clerkships, as well as your grades on your exams after your rotation or the shelf. The other things obviously that will be going in there are your CV, your personal statement, and your letter of recommendation. ERES, the program, doesn't actually open until June, the calendar year before you match into your residency. And then in September is when you should be completing and submitting. It's not free. So you just have to keep in mind, make sure that you set aside some money in terms of being able to utilize the service. Here's the breakdown of how many applications to what the price would be or fee would be in terms of submitting. There's also a separate fee to obtain your USMLE or COMLEX transcripts. Even though ERES opens up during a certain month, you would want to make sure you're staying on top of how long it's going to take you to write a personal statement, just knowing that about yourself. Also updating your CV and just staying diligent on adding things as you continue to add more experiences or research or leadership opportunities during med school or even before that to your CV, so that you're not stressed out about when that was, what it was called, and where to put it. I think letters of recommendation are often the most frustrating. It was definitely the most frustrating for me, only because after you ask for the letter, it really is out of your hands in terms of when you get it. You want to ask 3 or 4 people for a letter of recommendation, and that will also kind of guide what kind of rotations you're asking for in terms of setting up your clerkships and sub-Is. Can you let me know in the comment section down below whether a personal statement, letter of recommendation, specific video would be helpful to you, just so that I know and I can cater my future videos to what you guys actually want and need. After you submit your ERES application, you're basically then just waiting until you get your interview invites, and then the question then becomes, how do you decide which programs to interview for? How many interviews are you really going on? Because believe me, it is not an energizing experience. It definitely wears on you and can be tiresome after you hit a certain number. And hopefully they will be in person, and most likely will depend on the program. But what do you wear? What do you bring to the interview? How do you show up the most prepared and the most you, so that they know who they're signing up for? And same thing for you, if you end up choosing that program, how do you really know that that's the right fit for you? My understanding, at least when I was interviewing for psychiatry and talking to my other colleagues who were applying to other specialties, our interviews are quite long. They tend to be at least 20 to 30 minutes, whereas maybe in other specialties, they would only be about 10 to 15 minutes long. Of course, the best interviews feel conversational, but there are going to be very specific questions that you should probably be ready to answer. Because interviews are such a huge part of applying to psychiatry residency, I think that it goes without saying that I will be making a video about that, so stay tuned for that one. The next step in the psychiatry application timeline would then be match, which is where you rank your programs in the order in which you want to attend them, one being your top choice. For residency programs, I believe It opens in September and the deadline is sometime in January, where you have to register to participate in the match. You rank the programs and submit your rank list in March. There is 1 week that they call match week, and everybody finds out that Friday where they match. But if you don't end up matching, I believe you're made aware earlier on in the week. I think it's Monday, so that you can participate in the SOAP, which allows you to see which programs remain unfilled so that you can contact those programs and see if you can nab that spot. If you decide to apply for a psychiatry fellowship, just know that the timeline is different. The match opens sometime in November and you find out where you match in January. Early January. I know all of this feels extremely daunting, but you didn't come this far just to get this far. Hopefully by laying it all out in broad strokes, you'll be able to see that there is a clear path forward. Although key to success is really going to be making bite-sized pieces of your to-do list so that you're not completely overwhelmed and you don't feel like you're missing anything as you submit your application and go through this process. Because keep in mind, obviously all of these things are happening at the same time that you're still also going through med school. So please leave your questions down below. I would love to answer them. I know that I have a few people that are in different countries. I know that the application process is different, but I apologize, I'm not really sure. Hopefully my videos on personal statements or CVs or letters of recommendation or how to interview will be helpful for you regardless, because those are things that are basically general topics and not specific to America. But I'd love to hear if you notice any differences that you feel like would be important for our other team members to know in your country. And then we can help each other out. So thank you for watching as always, and I hope you have an awesome week. I'll see you at the next one.